record this session also. Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, namaste to all of you. उम्मीद करता है कि आप सब अच्छा से रह रहा होगा एंड देन लेक्चर एंजॉय कर रहा होगा. हमारी तरफ से ये उम्मीद करता है. एंड देन जितना भी हम सीखा और जितना भी हम लेक्चर दिया और डिस्कशन किया उसमें आप आपका जिंदगी में और आपका रिसर्च में लागू कर पाएगा, वो उम्मीद है हमारा तरफ से. तो अभी हम डिस्कशन करते हैं ज्योग्राफिकल थॉट पे. एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज हुआ था एंड दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड the linkage between the growth of geography, that is the dark age in Europe and the Arabs contributions. तो इससे पहले जाने से पहले एक चीज हम बताना चाहता है कि ancient period, this dark age happens between the ancient period and the modern age. जितना भी हम डिस्कशन किया था उस बिटवीन पे हुआ था dark age in Europe and the European contributions. तो बिफोर वी स्टार्ट द डार्क एज, जिस सेशन शुरू करने से पहले हमको ये रोमन एम्पायर क्या है उसको जानकारी होना बहुत जरूरी है. एंड देखो यहाँ पे मैप दिखा हुआ है आप लोग को. दिस मैप इज द यूरोपियन मैप्स इन ऑफ 125 CE एट द टाइम ऑफ द यूरोपियन रोमन एम्पायर. तो उसका ये मैप है, आप एक बार देख सकता है. एक शॉर्ट इंट्रोडक्शन देता है अबाउट दिस द यूरोपियन एम्पायर. यूरोपियन एम्पायर उसका हाइट पहुंचा 117 CE में, एंड इट वाज सो एक्सटेंसिव, मोस्ट एक्सटेंसिव कहलाता है इन हिस्ट्री में. पॉलिटिकल सोशल स्ट्रक्चर इन वेस्टर्न सिविलाइजेशंस. By 285 CE, the empire has grown too vast. इतना vast हो गया था कि it is so difficult to control from the central administrations. So क्या हो गया था कि emperor like a Diocletian उसको दो पार्ट पे डिवाइड कर दिया. The whole empire, Roman Empire को दो पार्ट में डिवाइड कर दिया. One is the Western and other one is Eastern Europe for the administrative convenience. So Roman Empire क्या हो गया था, began to grow when Augustus Caesar came to power and become the first empire of the Europe. Ended in the West when the last Roman Empire, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic king Odoacer. So यहाँ पे we should understand one very important thing. Like Roman Empire have started in the very small city. ये Roman Empire है ना, एक cities, छोटा सा एक city से शुरू हुआ था. और धीरे धीरे ये started controlling throughout the Europe. एक small city से शुरू हुआ था रोम पे, and then इटली में, and then started to grow. इतना ग्रो हो गया था कि उसको the whole throughout the Europe उसका अंदर में आ गया. And across the Balkans and the Middle East and into Africa, that is North Africa भी उसका कंट्रोल में आ चुका है. So इतना बड़ा किंगडम हो गया. एक स्मॉल सा शहर से शुरू हुआ था इटली में, and धीरे धीरे ये सब कंट्रोल करना शुरू कर दिया. तो इतना बड़ा हो गया तो that is the reason why for the administrative convenience ये दो पार्ट में डिवाइड किया था, वेस्टर्न एंड ईस्टर्न. and it falls, that means it falls during the Romulus period when the Germanic kings Odoacer defeat them. तो यहाँ पे ये चीज अंडरस्टैंड होना चाहिए. वेस्ट एंड ईस्ट डिवीजन था, तो इस क्या हो गया था, इसको दूसरे नाम से फिर चला until the death of the Constantine. बाइजेंटाइन एम्पायर का नाम से इस क्या रोमन ईस्टर्न रोमन किंगडम बाइजेंटाइन यूरोपियन शुरू हुआ. राइट. the influence of Roman Empire was on Western civilizations. Like in the last classes, in the last lecture, हमने discuss भी किया था कि Greek and Roman कितना influential था, and then civilization कितना भी था उसको influence बहुत था, legacy था उसमें. And then यहाँ पे भी दिखा दे रहा है कि the influence of Roman Empire on Western civilizations was profound and lasting contributions to virtually every aspect of the Western culture. तो इस legacy अभी तक भी ये legacy चल रहा है. So what is the reason for the fall of Roman Empire? Roman Empire का हम बहुत इसमें बहुत जानकारी करना बहुत जरूरी है. See, from 376 to 382 CE, Roman fought a series of battles against invading Goths. So who are these Goths? Who are these Goths? Goths है एक nomadic tribe है German पे, एक nomadic tribe है German पे, and these people fought against the Roman rules from the late 300s to earlier 400 AD. This period, these Goths, they were fighting. They were always in the fight or war with the Roman empires. These are nomadic people. Remember, ये nomadic people है, they move from one places to another place, but they have the courage. इतना courage है कि ये Roman Empire के साथ भी war कर सकता है. So historians बोलता है कि this war, the nomadic Goths attack on the Roman Empire is one of the reasons for the falls of the Roman Empire. The ascendance of these Goths is said to have marked the beginning of the medieval period in Europe. So who are these Goths? Goths, a tribe, a nomadic tribe, and ये two types of Goths are there. One is a Visigoths, the other one is Ostrogoths. So historian कहलाता है कि this is the ancestors of the Visigoths. Visigoths mount a successful invasions of the Roman Empire beginning 376 and ultimately defeated them. That means Roman Empire could defeat Chaldea in the Battle of Andropolis, 9 August 376 AC में उसको defeat कर दिया. And the last empire was defeated, and the historian marked this even as the pivotal of the decline of the Western Roman Empire. तो ईस्टर्न तो बचा हुआ है अभी तक. तो ईस्टर्न क्या था वो तो हम ऑलरेडी बता चुका है इन द फर्स्ट स्लाइड पे. उसको डिफरेंट नेम से कंटिन्यू किया था, राइट. तो वेस्टर्न तो गिर चुका है इन द हैंड ऑफ द गॉड्स. तो वेरियस थ्योरीज हैव सजेस्टेड, अभी बहुत सारी थ्योरीज है ये क्यों रोमन एम्पायर गिरा. ये सिर्फ not only the attack or the war of the battle of this Andropolis. Okay, there are many theories related to why Q Roman Empire gira. So there are many theories, but today there is no universal agreement. There is no universal agreement. Yeah, okay, because of this reason Roman gira. So there are many propagandas. So there are possibilities. Contributing factors for the Romans' falls are political instability due to size of the empire. So in the beginning, I was telling you that the size of the kingdom was so large that it is so difficult for the administrations to control the whole empire from the central government. That is why they are divided into Western and Eastern. The second reason could be the self-interest of two different empires. That means self-interest. अपना two division हो गया, and then they started to have their own interest. Could be. The third one could be the invention of the barbarian tribes. Barbarian tribes in the sense like I've been discussing together, the Gotska tribe. Attack of these tribes on the Roman Empire. The four reasons could be the government corruptions. Government corruption currently हो भी सकता है. And the fifth one is mercenaries are released. And the sixth one is the over reliance on the slave labor. And the other one could be a massive unemployment and inflations. Sorry, there is another reasons. Another reason is there the dominance of the Roman Catholics believed. Okay. So now let us see the explanation, the entire explanations of what could be the reasons. Explanation, the first explanation is the ungovernable vastness of the empire. That means बहुत बड़ा हो चुका है तो govern करना बहुत कठिन job हो गया for the administrations. Even divide into two make it difficult to manage. दोनों part divide किया था but उसको भी मुश्किल था manage करने की. The Eastern Empire flourished while the Western गिर चुका है, struggle कर रहा था, neither give much thought of helping each other. देखो यहाँ पे देख रहा है कि ये two parts हो गया, एक struggle कर रहा है, एक flourish कर रहा है. But जो flourish कर रहा है वो नहीं सोचा कि Western को support करना है, ऐसा selfish हो गया. So the Eastern and the Western Romans see each other more as a competitor than teammate and work primarily in the own self-interest. So self-interest में शुरू हो गया. The growing strength of the Germanic tribes, like we have discussed just now, and constant incursion into Rome could have been dealt with more effectively in for government's corruptions, especially among provincial governors. So yes, sir, this could be one of the reasons, explanations of the fall of the Roman Empire. The other one is Roman military. जितना भी military है was mined by the barbarians. वो बहुत barbarians को depend करता था उसका military है. Who had ethnic tie to Rome. Who doesn't have any ethnic tie to Rome. So could not longer safeguard the borders so effectively as efficiently as they once had more, nor could the government as easily collect tax in the province. So you know what? यहाँ पे reasons शीट क्या हुआ कि Roman military ज़्यादा सा barbarians को depend करता था. And one important thing is this barbarians doesn't have any culture or any ethnic linkage with the Romans. So धीरे-धीरे अपना self interest शुरू हो गया. And there are so many reasons. The arrival of the Visigoth in the empire in the 3rd century, feeling from the invaders, Huns, and other subsequent rebellions also been cited as the contributing factors. So these are some of the reasons, explanations to that reasons why the Roman Empire has fallen. So this is the kingdom, and यहाँ पे आपको map पे दिखा दे रहा है different wave पे, different wave कैसा it's these attackers Roman को attack किया था during those days. So Dark Age. So the fall of Roman Empire led to the decline in literature, science, and explorations in Europe and Southeast Asia part of the world. So the moment the Europe falls, क्या हो गया था? Literature, science, explorations, सब कुछ बंद हो चुका है, especially Europe and Southeast Asia and part of the world. And ये नहीं कि दूसरे वर्ल्ड पे एक्सप्लोरेशन नहीं चल रहा है ऐसा नहीं है. Like at the same time geographical knowledge was flourishing in China, India and Southeast Asia. सिर्फ इस एरिया पे जितना भी यूरोप एम्पायर था फॉल हो गया था, इस एरिया पे ये लिटरेचर साइंस एक्सप्लोरेशन स्टॉप हो गया. The period of about 500 years, that means 200 to 700 BC, which followed the publication of the Ptolemies, the Guide to Geography, was an age of complications, turmoil, and abridgment. So what complications, stage method when Ptolemies write about the Guide of Geography. During this period, not a single work of originality in any field of science and humanities were written. For this retrogressions, which was most repeat during the period 300 to 500 BC AD, the following conditions were responsible. but उसमें जाने से पहले यहाँ पे एक चीज ये like Ptolemy's right writings like the publications like the guide to geography yes सब चीजें and when we look at the history properly especially the geographical thought में हम अच्छा से दिख करके जाएगा तो Ptolemy's का जितना भी काम था वो सब most of his work has been destroyed during the Dark Age period, right? During the Romans force जितना भी scientific research था वो सब बोला है कि ये सब खत्म हो चुका था. So following reasons, part of Roman Empire, Dacians, gold and spent passed into barbarians' hand. North Africa was seized by the Vandals. Consequently, travel even within the empire was hazardous. So one important reasons why Dark Age really starts. Roman fall हो गया था and then उसको separate कर लेना. I mean it was इसको टुकड़े टुकड़े करके rule शुरू कर दिया. Right. So within the empire, within the kingdom, traveling करना ये कठिन काम था. In the Middle and Far East, so Middle and Far East में क्या हो रहा था? Almost entirely passed in the hand of the Persians in Arab and Abyssinians. Moreover, the northern overland route through the Darius Islands, that means Uttarakhand, by way of Caspian to Central Asia was too insecure for even most adventurous. So यहाँ पे देखो even to for a sea also to see adventures also is not very possible because entire area has been handled or has gone into the hand of the Persians, Arab, and then by Syrians. The third reason is scripture become the ultimate repository of knowledge of every kind. Anything that does not conform with the truth of the scripture was regarded as against the previous mind or accordingly rejected. So these are reasons. Some of the reasons why the period between 300 to 500 AD may completely literature, science, and exploration stop हो चुका है. In 16th and 17th, 6th and 7th century, like Father Priest and Father Isodorus, they started to come out with the idea that the descriptions of the earth as a flat surface. So, they started to come out. So, बहुत influential था ये लोग, and then when they said these things, the public general started to follow what they have seen. History greatest tragedy. क्या हो गया था during this dark age? Once regarded as the largest library in ancient world, containing work by the greatest thinkers and writers of antiquity, including Homer, Plato, Socrates, and many more. The Library of Alexandria, northern Egypt, is popularly believed to have been destroyed in a huge fire about 2000 years ago, and its volumes were closed. So, these are the beliefs. Not exactly belief, this is what has happened during the Dark Age. The Library of Alexandria, the very popular library in ancient Egypt, and most of the work, जितना भी काम किया था Homer, Plato, and most of the philosophical work that is kept in the library has been destroyed during this period. And the infamous destruction by the fire of Library of Alexandria, with the consequence loss of most of the complete collections of ancient literature assembled, has been point of heated debate for a century. So, but there are certain conspiracy here again. What is the reasons behind the destroying or destroying of this library? And this has been the very hit point of a debate for many centuries. And there are some people who blame even some famous kings of destroying these libraries. What exactly happened with this amazing storehouse of ancient knowledge? The question is, Who was responsible for burning it? कौन है इसका behind this burning down of the Alexandria? So some scholars says that Julius Caesar is the prime suspect. यहाँ पे भी prime suspect है. Exactly पता नहीं कि इसने Julius Caesar ने burn down कर दिया, ऐसा नहीं. But prime suspect है कि is destruction of the Library of Alexandria. So during this dark age, map making has become so fancy, purely fancy. अपना अपना imagination से map बनाना शुरू कर दिया. In fact, if you look at the ancient times map, they were a little bit accuracies were there. I mean, they were trying to draw a map. A cartography skill was much better than what has happened in the dark age. Dark age में हम यहाँ पे dark age में बहुत popular at map शुरू कर दिया, especially by the Christian, especially by the Roman Catholics. After seizing the powers, they started to come up with a very fancy types of the cartography. This cartography here in the screen is this was a parent of TO maps. A T in O maps orbits terraneum or wheel map. ऐसा करके एक map निकला था उसका time पे. The inhabitants' world was represented by a circular figures surrounded by the oceans. The figure was oriented towards the east. यहाँ पे आपको दिखाई दे रहा है. In the middle of the land area was shapes, arrangements of the water bodies. That stem of the T represent the Mediterranean. आपको दिखाई दे रहा है Mediterranean. The top of T represent the Aegean and the Black Sea on one hand, and the Nile River and Red Sea on the other. The three divisions, Europe, Asia, and Africa, were accepted as standard. The center of the inhabitant world, just above the T, is in Jerusalem. So this is purely the fancy type of maps. ये Christian methodology से ही बना हुआ था, right? Christian methodology से, and then these maps were prepared by the Roman Catholics. At the far east, beyond the limit of the inhabited world, are paradise. तो दिखाई दे रहा है आपको सबसे ऊपर में आपको दिखाई दे रहा है paradise. So this type of maps were dominating, were one of the most important maps for many centuries. So according to German scholars, he have remarked on what happened to the Dark Ages, that new countries were not discovered. The empire becomes smaller, not greater. So during this time, there was no discoveries, completely down. The kingdoms become smaller. बड़ा नहीं हो रहा है, trade relationship खत्म हो गया था. But क्या है, thanks to the war in the east and south and the north, because more and more restricted. Besides, there was no longer any questions of research, individual research कुछ नहीं था, and the spirit of discovery सब खत्म हो गया. Thus, only the books that were put together were complications from the older world. So this is the remarks of German scholar Smith about the Dark Age. So Dark Age में क्या हो गया था? Dark Age में the scientific and the literature and the exploration has completely stopped in Europe. But at the same time, there is a civilization going on in Arab country. The civilization is going on. So let us also see, in geographical thought, the Arabs has also, contributed a lot towards the growth of geography as a subject. Not only in geography, you will see that these Arabs have also contributed immensely towards the growth of other disciplines. Even in science, physics, philosophy, yes, सब पे आप देख पाएगा कि Arabs contribution बहुत बड़ा है. So when the Romans क्या हो रहा था, empire में dark age चल रहा था, so Arabs were exploring the world. They were contributing. They were taking ahead the contributions made by the ancient Greek and Roman scholars. So the fall of the Roman Empire and the decline of the scientific learning in Europe, followed by a period of great ascendancy in Arab world under the influence of Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad has also, the followers of Prophet Muhammad has plays a very important role when it comes to the explorations, when it comes to the scholarly contributions towards the geographical growth. The followers of Islam soon embark upon a course of conquest of the world. तो शुरू हो गया उसने देखो they have two motive here. One is to spread the religion, the other one is to to trade with the people. So they have started to conquer the world outside Arabia with a view of spreading new religions, new religion ideology to the far east of the corner. Persians, the Egypt were conquered in 641, 642 AD, and by AD 732, the whole of the Western Asia desert regions was under their control. Now, see, with this idea, with the idea, with the inspirations, with the control, to spread a new religion at the same time to have a trade relationship. They have started compare Persians, Egypt, and the whole of the West Asia desert comes under their control by 732 AD. They soon overrun the Iberian Peninsula, so that Spain, Portugal has remained under Muslim rules for almost 900 years. Muslim influence also extreme eastward into India and part of the Southeast Asia. So, this is the spread. The, the Muslim history in India is also connected with these things. It's connected with the, the growth of Islam and the idea of spreading the religions, and also the idea of commercial's importance. This has spread, and then Spain, Portugal, and the Far East like India and the Southeast Asia also come under the influence. So क्या हो गया था? Following the widening of the geographical horizon, world becomes a field of new zeals for scientific learning. So they have, since they were exploring the world, so they have more ideas. उसको पास more ideas है. I mean, more ideas आ गया, more exploration techniques आ गया उसको पास. तो अभी क्या हो रहा था? They have started to come up with, they have a new zeal of scientific learning. They wanted to learn more and more. They wanted to learn the culture of people. They wanted to learn the scientific things, what is happening around the world. So Baghdad was founded in 720 AD. Because of these reasons, Baghdad was founded, become a major center of learning. And the Caliphate employed learned men of different faiths to make authentic translations of major scientific work and their respective work. So यहाँ पे the Caliphate is सब scholars को invite किया from different faith, from different region of the world, and they translate their work, their scientific work, literature, philosophy into their Arabs. Available texts on geography written by ancient Greeks, including Ptolemy, was translated into Arabs. And new texts were also written after, incorporating the new knowledge derived from this record of observations made by the Arab merchants and explorers. See, यहाँ पे देखो, Arab merchants and explorers. It is not only the idea of spreading new religions, but the idea is, see, they are getting an idea from the merchants and the explorer. When they come back from new countries, they give new additional ideas. So some of the prominent Arab scholars are Balkhi, collected climatic data from accounts of various Arab travelers. So they have started to collect these things. Al-Masudi is also known as the Herodotus of Arab. Why? Because he was the first Arab to combine history and scientific geography in large scale. He traveled extensively, and about 30 volume of history of the world, and recounted experiences of his travel from Europe to India. इसने भी बहुत तरीका से he have written so many books and uh, almost to be describe the weather conditions of place he visited or sailed through. The climatologist में इसने contribution किया था. He has also a clear idea of the spherical shapes of Earth. In the field of human geography, he tried to explain the relationship between human beings and environment. Now, see, they were trying to see because geographically, if we talk about geography, geography is a study of man and environment. So in human geography, his contribution is that he is trying to study the relationship between human beings and the environment, and they explain the impact of human environment on the mode of life or attitude of the people. So he become an environmental determinist. He also become an environmental determinist. So he divided the world into 7 regions during those days on the basis of the language. 7 regions में Persians है, Arab है, Greek है, Egyptians है, Libyans है, Turk है, Hindus and Chinese. Another very great scholar is the Al-Biruni. Through his dedications and vast knowledge, achieved great scholarships, philosophy, religion, linguistics. इस सब में उसने एक बहुत knowledgeable आदमी था Al-Biruni. He has a knowledge on philosophy, religion, linguistics, mathematics, astronomy, horology, physics, medicines, and history. Foundation of Indology. Foundation of Indology का मतलब है कि he studied the Indian history, literature, philosophy, and culture because he had wide knowledge about the Indian during those days. In his first anthropologist, he also gave title as yeah, Al Ustaf. That means the master of his remarkable descriptions of the 11th century India. His blood include like Kitab al-Hind is the बहुत famous है, Kitab al-Hind में he regarded as his monumental work with because he is considered as the founder of the Indology. So in his Kitab al-Hind he has described the geography of India. He described the process shaping the landforms, normal conditions, and even identify the significance of brown stones, alluvial deposit in the southern part of the Himalaya. So he was even talking about those things because he have traveled a lot in India. He mentioned that the distribution of river in the peninsular regions is controlled by the Eastern and Western Ghats. And he provides detailed information about the source of Indus also. So, in this way, he is considered as the father of Indology, founder of Indology. He gave the description of the city of Quint. He has provided an accurate account of the seasons of India, describing the nature of monsoons. So his knowledge about India is very, very vast. He also translated Patanjali from Sanskrit to Arab. Yeah. And in his Patanjali, he has a lot of knowledge. He has given a lot of credit to India and China also. So he wrote 27 books of geography, from for each to the cartography, he wrote geodesy, climatology, and 7 books on comets, meteors, and surveys. His astronomical writings, he discussed about the proved and proved the Earth theories, rotations on its axis, and correctly calculate the latitude and longitude of some Mars places. He provided his view on the origin of the universe in his book Al-Tahindi. He explained the phenomena of solar and lunar eclipse. He also attempted to measure the longest and the shortest distance from the moon and the suns from the Earth. He studied the relationship between tides and the phases of the moon. So with distance, I will just stop my